think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you'd like to win, but you think you can't, it is almost a cinch you won't. If you think you'll lose, you've lost. For out in this world we find success begins with a person's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win the prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man. But sooner or later, the person who wins is the one who thinks he can.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Studio 39, aka the Bear Cave. I'm Rob Odie, and this is Spotlight 39. Doing something a little bit different. It's the coach's hype session. So I got a super special guest. He's the Nick Saban of high school football, at least in my eyes. That's how I look at it. So, hope you enjoyed the hype video. You know what it is. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn the notifications on, all that fun stuff. Give this video a thumbs up so we can continue to grow on YouTube and we can continue to get these kids the exposure that they deserve, all right? Comment during this broadcast, show us some love. I'll bring it up on the screen, answer any questions that you guys may have. We'll make it super interactive if we want. But with that being said, I've got to plug in the Darius Minor Foundation. It's the Black Bears Heart Walk. It's our first huge event of the foundation, October 10th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the University of Maine. In the event that you can attend in person, no harm, no foul, but we would greatly appreciate the support. You could share it all across your social media. You could help us fundraise for a great cause. Let's help save some lives, help raise awareness for heart disease within student athletes. All right? So now, all that stuff out the way. Here we are. I got the Twitter handle right. I switched it up. I apologize for that. I tagged his brother, so shout out to his brother Jacob, right? But this is the man, Coach Jason. Say your last name for me so I don't butcher it.
Jason Negro.
Negro. So I did say it right. How about that? So, Coach, man, I appreciate you taking the time out of your super busy day, flying in from California, busing from Richmond all the way over to Chesapeake, enjoying some practice, enjoying some Mission Barbecue, all that good stuff. But now it's time to talk some football, right? So let me just learn a little bit about you. If you don't mind, formally introducing yourself to everybody. Let us know who you are and what you do, and just a little bit about how you got to where you are at, St. John Bosco.
Rob, thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be on your platform, and what you've done for Darius and his memory is certainly pretty special. And, hopefully my presence just on your broadcast will help you grow this great podcast and be able to allow you to do this down in the future. So, first and foremost, I want to thank you. My name is Jason Negro. I'm the head football coach here at St. John Bosco High School. I've been in this role for the last 12 years. I'm a graduate of St. John Bosco, class of 1991. And I went to college. I wanted to be a physical therapist, and I started coaching junior All-American football, little 7 and 8 year olds. And I just fell in love with the sport. I fell in love with being able to work with young people, and it kind of took me back to the mission of Don Bosco and what our school is all about in terms of trying to develop young men into good positive role models, and so they can be good husbands and good fathers. And I thought that what better way to be able to do that than to use the platform of athletics, most namely football, because it's something I'm really passionate about in order to do that. So I got the job in 2010, and we just continued to try to build our program. We feel that we're trying to become a national brand across the country.
I think doing that.
yeah. And opportunities like this to come out to Virginia to kind of, let everybody kind of see the product in which we put on the field, we're really proud of. And to let our kids be exposed to different types of areas of the country, something that they really may not have an opportunity to do. Not all our kids will go to college, but we want to try to provide them a college experience. And that's something that, I've kind of willed, and it's a passion of mine. I'm going to continue to do it as long as I'm at the helm here.
Yeah, man, that's huge, and obviously, we're going to get to that big matchup on Friday, and what it means to obviously the state of Virginia, the community, the city of Chesapeake, and all that good stuff. But I want to know what it's like on your end too. So we'll get into all of that. But I appreciate the intro. We're going to kind of shift gears here, man, and we're going to jump to this screen. And I got something up here. It's the program history. We obviously don't have to go into detail, man. I'm just kind of hand you the floor and you kind of just walk us through the rich history that that Bosco football has and what it represents. And for the viewers out there, man, they can see it on the screen. And
Sure.
I'll place, I'll scroll it up because the accolades don't stop, right? They
Yeah,
continue to
yeah.
flow, and if we get to the end here, right? What is that part right there? 2019, right? You guys ended the season number one in the nation unanimously, right? And then no data for 2020. 2020 was just all kinds of weird for every reason possible. But now you guys are currently, I believe, number three ranked based on Max Preps. But yeah, man, if you don't mind, just kind of sharing some of that rich history. You're a Bosco alum yourself, right? So you've probably seen the good, the bad, and the ugly over your time. But yeah, just share with us, what Bosco football, represents.
It's been a great evolution since the program started. The school opened in 1940 as kind of a boarding school for wayward boys. Kids that had gotten in trouble and things like that. It was the mission of our patron saint Don Bosco to try to save as many kids as he possibly could. So in 1940, the school opened. We didn't start playing football till 1956. But it was kind of an up and down, program because you had a lot of kids coming in and out of the school. Again, it was a boarding school all the way. I think it closed in 1979 as a boarding school. And
Well,
then through the 80s, they had some really good years and kind of struggled through the 90s and early 2000s. And I was a student athlete during that time. And, we had a lot of really good players. We just couldn't get over that hump. We were kind of like the bottom tier of the league. Our conference was super, talented with a lot of really good programs and some legendary coaches out in the Southern California area. It's a talent rich area. I mean, that's one of the most impressive things about where our school is located. We're just southeast of Los Angeles on the border of LA County and Orange County. So we kind of have the best of both worlds, a lot of talent, a lot of opportunity to, be attractive to young men that want to come and be a part of a program that's like ours. And so basically what I did is I just kind of wanted to come in and change the culture. Before I got there, we hadn't made the playoffs in 7 years, and the program was kind of falling on some hard times, and our enrollment at the school was starting to dip. And I think one of the things the administration thought at the time was, and if we're going to build our enrollment, we need to do something that is going to have a positive impact on things that young men like, and that's athletics. So they really sunk a lot of resources into helping us, start the program. I was in belief that the administration was going to allow us to kind of, be pioneers in what we were trying to do. We wanted to be front runners in the game of trying to, build this program the right way and do it in a national landscape. And that's what we were able to do. So in 12 short years, I think that we've accomplished a lot. As you can see in the program history there, we shared a national title in 2013, and we got the undisputed a unanimous national championship in 2019. But in order to do that, you have to take trips like this. You have to win big ball games against teams all the way across the country to build a resume. And that's what my school has ultimately allowed me to do. And I've been able to do it with a lot of collegiate, level athletes and guys that have been helping us to do it. And I'm very blessed that I have an administration that doesn't. I think I have the best coaching staff in the country in terms of what we do for young people. So that's kind of what we've done. And again, I'm kind of like the one that's always gets the accolades and things like that. But ultimately, it's if it couldn't be done without a lot of collective people working in collaboration to get us to where we're at right now. And like I said, my coaching staff is phenomenal. I've got a lot of consistency there. Guys been with me forever. And I've had an unwavering administration that says, Coach, what do we need to do to support you? And we get it done.
Yeah, man. Just from an outsider looking in from the East Coast, right? You guys
Mhm.
have definitely made a big impact in the high school football world. Obviously, you hear about the IMG Academy. You hear about is it Matter D, Matter Die, however
Modern day.
it Matter Day. How about that, right? So
Yeah, there you
those guys, and that's probably a big rivalry for you guys being in
go.
state.
Right.
They produce high volume football stats and such. So
Yep.
I enjoy the fact that you guys have built something special. And then looking at your resume, man, it's it goes hand in hand with everything that you just said. The administration backed you, right? They gave you the tools to be successful, and you took that, made it your own, and ran with it, and you got those dudes locked and loaded, ready to go. And then, like you mentioned, you do get the accolades, right? So we can't throw that away. We gotta look at the accolades. So let me just pull this up here, right? That's a pretty big title, National Coach of the Decade, right? So first and foremost, what does that mean to you when you got this honor? What was that like? What does this mean to you?
It's incredibly humbling. I never in a million years thought that I would receive any kind of accolade like this. When I first started my career, I just wanted to be, able to come back for my second season. And when I started my career, I was at a local public school. I spent the first 7 years at Tribuco Hills High School, which I loved, and I had great experiences there. But we were struggling. We were 0-8 in my first 8 games as a head coach, and I was 29 years old. Really didn't have an understanding or a grasp of what it was going to take to be successful. And I was just kind of learning along the way. And I was just so green to the profession, and I really didn't understand. But I'm a learner. I'm a guy that goes out there and wants to learn from the best. So that's basically what I did. I tried to solicit the help from as many quality coaches that I possibly could, and went out there and just started to chip away at it. And one win became two, two became four, and four became eight. And before you know it, we're in the semifinals, we're in the finals, we're playing for championship games. And then I get this big promotion to be able to come back to my alma mater at St. John Bosco, where the platform is there. And I knew it was a gold mine. I knew, we had enough talent. We had Division I guys up and down the roster. There was just a cultural, problem, I think, in the program, that we just couldn't get over some of the stigmas that were necessary to be competitive in conference. And then once we could get into the conference, then I knew we can get into the playoffs and be successful. So, and to be named National Coach of the Decade is certainly quite an honor. I mean, I don't know. When you think about it, over the last 100 years, there's only been 10 of those guys in this, and there's 17,000 high schools across the country, and to be able to be named with that is certainly special. But again, I'm quick to realize that this isn't about me. It's about the guys that I have working for me, my support staff, the training staff. It's a collaboration of a lot of really talented people. And I think that's my greatest skill set as a coach, is to surround myself with talented people and let them go do their jobs. And if you're able to do that and you're able to treat them right, you're going to have them stick around for years on to come. And then you build this consistent, kind of machine as you're going forward. And that's what we've been able to accomplish. And so for me, it's a humble thing. I'm really, blessed, and I'm honored to be able to be recognized in that in multiple different, publications. But again, I'm just kind of the figurehead of this. I'm not saying that I'm not ultimately responsible, but there's a lot of people that deserve just as much credit as I do.
Yeah, for sure. And something that you just mentioned, the culture, right?
Mhm.
Going back to my day job, that's a big piece of what I represent. Is building a culture, right? And if you take over something that is broken or not where it needs to be, right? I always say that if you can build the culture, you can paint the picture for what's in it for them, right? Once you do that, you get to watch the success roll in. You get to watch that fire burn, right? And
Well, yeah.
great feeling once that culture is established, because once you build it, everybody wants to be a part of it, right? And it feeds off of
Well,
everybody. So you can look
without
at the
question, and it's sorry to cut you off, but it
good.
is. I get so fired up when you talk about something that's in my wheelhouse. But it's about a snowball effect, and I think what happens is you start to build that culture, and then it just kind of grows and it manifests and it starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden you have to just be able to manage it, and you have to make sure that you act with some humility, and you don't let kids get too big headed, and you
Exactly.
don't try to puff your chest out or throw your thumbs at yourself and say I'm the one that's responsible for all of this, because it could come crashing down really quickly if you do that. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is provide opportunities for young people and families. Look at it and they say, man, this is something that I really want my kid to be invested in. We realize as a coaching staff, we're just the secondary educators, in our players' families, but our parents entrust us with a lot of belief that we're going to do the things that are in the best interest of their kids, and ultimately that message gets out there and more people want to come. It's kind of the Pied Piper. You kind of start playing that flute, and then all of a sudden you got more and more talented guys coming into your doors. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've been able to do this, is culture's massive.
Yeah, I mean, culture is everything, regardless of if it's football, if it's a a working environment, whatever it is that you're trying to build. If you can
Mhm.
build a culture of success, then you're in a great position. So speaking of support group and parents and all that good stuff, man, I'm curious. How is the travel team, right? Do parents fly out and show out with you guys, or what's that support group going to look like? Come Friday night.
It should be pretty good. I mean, we're traveling with, I think, 75 players, 74 players, something like that. And I think I have 25 adults that are part of my staff and coaching group. Trainers and student managers are included in that.
Awesome.
Equipment people. My director of football operations, Jesse Christensen's here as well. She's the one that kind
Shout
of
out to her, right?
organizes.
Yeah.
Yeah, big part of what our experience, our success has been is the people that you put yourself, that put in specific roles and let them go to work. So it's quite an undertaking to travel with this many people, but our parents are super supportive. We travel really well. We went down to Florida in 2017, had a ton of people, and then 3 weeks later we went to Washington D.C. and played St. John's Academy. And we were able to play those guys, and we had a ton of people there. I expect us to have a really good crowd.
Awesome.
Walking around the hotel today, started to see some of our families are arriving. Today, we got a bunch coming in tomorrow, and then by Friday, we should have a pretty good group. And hopefully, the community in Chesapeake around Virginia is going to come out, and hopefully, they'll sit on our side and make it look like there's even more Brave fans out there. But we have a very good following. We have a good contingency of families that are going to want to be a part of this. And like I said, we're providing this opportunity for their young men. They enjoy it too. And
Oh yeah.
we have a lot of stuff set up. Even our school, we have a tailgate here at the hotel that the families are going to be a part of. Tomorrow we got this big thing going on where I'm going to speak to all the alums of the area. Quite a few Bosco alums on the Eastern Seaboard that are gonna come in for the game. And then on Friday, pre-tailgate is back at the Mission Barbecue. So we show out. We'll have a lot of people. We're excited.
Oh man, that's super super cool, man. I can't wait to get down there. It's about a 2.5 hour drive for me, so it's not too bad. Semi local,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
But
oh, yeah. You can't miss this thing,
it,
man.
look, as soon as this game was announced, I immediately threw a tweet out there. I said, "Look, this has the potential to be honestly the game of the year." Obviously, everybody wants the Matter Day and IMG game, right? That's what people want. But I think the reality of it is, man, I think the talent on both sides, between you guys and Oscar Smith is second to none. I mean, they've got some great talent over there. You guys obviously have a great amount of talent on your squad, and it's gonna be very exciting to watch. So let's talk about that game, right? So
Right.
how do you game plan to play a team, across country, right? So I mean, you guys are hanging out in California, sunny California, right? And you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
get to come here, which right now it's weird weather. It probably shouldn't be 90 degrees this time of year in Virginia, but it is Virginia. That's what we get. Come Friday night, it'll probably be 50 degrees and probably raining. It'd be our luck. But let's talk about that. How do you prepare for that?
I mean, I think the thing that you do is you try to stay in a consistent routine no matter what, and you're working with kids. So they're going to follow you and your leadership. So whatever, picture that you're going to paint and what you want to see in the development of a particular game plan that you put forward, all you have to do is continue to work on the execution of that. And if you don't deviate too far from their normal kind of routine, kids are just going to fall in line. That's just, they're built that way. And I think that we got a pretty good grasp on what we're trying to accomplish. We basically really try to focus on what we do as a staff and what we do as a program, and we fix our problems first. And that probably 90% of our preparation for a game is working on ourselves and trying to do the things that we need to do in order to, better play the game of football come Friday night, week in and week out. And we want to have incremental increases in our performance from week to week. And I think if we started week one, we played a very talented team from Miami. Miami Central High School came into our place.
Yep.
And week four, we played East St. Louis from Illinois, another, kind of a national team coming in, number one ranked team in Illinois. And I think from game one to game four, we've elevated our performance and we're continuing to play better. And that's the ultimate goal. So you start with yourself, get that 90%. And then the last 10% is really focusing on your opponent, putting together a really good game plan. And then you got to work on executing it. We spend a lot of time on film. Coach Scott, very generous guy. We exchange film. We had some stuff from them in the past over the 20 season and the 19 season that we were able to, kind of collaborate and get from some people. So we're prepared, and we think we know what they do. We obviously know that they think that they know what we do. And it's going to be a very strategic battle. I think, being here on the East Coast is a little challenging. It's why we come in so early, a couple days before, to kind of acclimate to the weather as well as the time change. But again, it's trying to keep the kids in a routine that they're used to. And if I can do that, then I think that we're going to perform well on Friday night, at least for the 48 minutes that we're out there.
Man, and it's going to be special to watch, man. Like I said, I am beyond excited. But
Mhm.
speaking of kids, man, obviously that's what Spotlight 39 is all about. So let's
Right.
transition and let's talk about some of the kids, man. Let's spotlight some of your guys, and I'm going to leave this open to whoever you want to talk about. You can talk about one or as many as you want, because obviously this is only going to help them put their name out there and help with exposure. So, let's talk about some of the guys that we're going to see on Friday night.
We have a lot of talented guys. I mean, that's the first thing that when it all starts about when you talk about St. John Bosco High School, that we have a lot of collegiate athletes out there that are playing on Saturdays. And that's something I'm super proud of because they're using the platform that we've provided them to get to where they want to go. And we're certainly a destination and we're a springboard to college. But I think the biggest thing that I'm proud about my program is not the fact that kids are getting scholarships, but kids are going to college and they're contributing right away and they're having an immediate impact as freshmen, redshirt freshmen in their programs. And that's something I'm super proud of. And I think right now we put a graphic out, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I think we have like 62 or 63 kids playing at 39 different universities across the country that are on college rosters this fall. And that's pretty massive when you take a look at it. We've had years of, 16, 18, 19 kids that have all signed Division I offers. Our 2022 class, we're with guys all over the place. We got 3 running backs, Jabari Bates, Rayshawn Luke, and Mikey Hayes, all 3 Division I type running backs with Division I offers. Our left tackle, Ernest Green, is a national recruit. I mean, he's been offered by pretty much everybody in the country, from Alabama to LSU to Georgia to A and UCLA, everybody. We have our center is an Army commit. His name's Micah Talavau. He's kind of one of those just kind of grinders, works really hard. We have a big Polynesian influence in our program, so we have a lot of big kids in the program. Our right tackle, Tyson Molio, is another really talented guy, and he's got Division I offers. DJ Owangilele, who's the quarterback at Clemson, his brother Mateo
One more time.
is the
Enjoy the name.
DJ Uyangalele.
I love
Uh, DJ is the starting quarterback at Clemson. Well, his brother Mateo is a sophomore a junior in our program, and he's got a ton of offers as well. And then our 3 wideouts are all Division I guys. JC Ondas, Shaden James is probably a little bit under the radar because he's a little bit sawed off in terms of his height. If he was maybe an inch or 2 taller, he would probably have every offer around the country. He's a very explosive type player. He's a guy that I think people are sleeping on a little bit. And I think we have an outside wideout named Logan Booher, who's another guy that's a little bit under recruited. I think what really hurt our guys in terms of the massive offers that they would have in the past is over the last 2 springs, we didn't have any colleges come out to our campus. So
really.
everything we've had to do was based on what we were able to accomplish as coaching staff and the relationships that we have built with the universities to get our guys going. So that's just on the offensive side of the ball. Switching over to the defensive side of the ball, up front, we got, 4 really talented guys. Nate Burrell is a Cal commit. Jairus Satele, he's actually going to trip to Navy right after this and go check that out. Malachi Finau is another Division I guy that's super talented. Jalen Woods, we call him J9. He's an outside backer for us. He's a UCLA commit. Riz Halla is a safety. He's a Boston College commit, going to Boston College. Another talented guy. Yeah, there's that graphic.
There it is.
Yeah. So
All right.
you got some guys. Yeah, you got it right there. We got 2 really good, or 3 actually really good, talented corners. That are playing phenomenal right now. And Tavion Beasley is a senior. Jayshawn Frosto Ramos is a national recruit, and Marcellus Williams is another guy that's an underclassman. He's actually only a sophomore. We got another guy named Peyton Woodyard, another safety named Ty Lee, both with national offers, and probably our best defensive guy as a sophomore. He can't play this year, recovering from an injury that he had in the spring. Might get him back at the end of the season, is a guy named Kingston Billy Amuasa. Again, national recruit. He was the number 1 kid out of the 2024 class to be offered by Ohio State across the country. So tells you how talented this group of individuals is on my football team.
Yeah, man. You guys, I did this on the fly. It'd be a little bit cleaner, man. Sorry for the notification. I figured
No,
why not throw it up there, right? I mean, this,
right.
this is the graphic you were talking about, right? What is it?
Yes,
64,
sir.
64
Hmm.
in 39 colleges across the country, and it's not,
Crazy.
and it's not just Power Five, right? So let's be clear. You can still be very successful, still have a great collegiate career, and not be a Power Five, you know, talent prospect, right? And this
Well,
graph.
Rob, I mean, that's where we make a living. I mean, that's the ultimate success. I mean, to get DJ, who's going to Clemson, to go to Clemson, we really didn't have a huge impact on that. I mean, we did start the process and we got it going, and at least let them be able to identify who they are. But it's those guys that go to the subdivision schools, or the group of five schools that are really where we're going to hang our hat, because those are the guys that are using our platform to be able to, from the academic standpoint to the athletic standpoint, and also socially, what we're doing in terms of development of young men on our campus, that they're going to be able to go to some of these universities across the country outside of the state of California and be successful. And that's where I'm mostly proud, is that next tier group of guys that are just really solid high school football players that want to play college football, and they're just looking for a home. We're doing a pretty good job of finding homes for those guys.
Yeah, based on what I see, I would thoroughly agree that you guys are most certainly a program for the kids, right? I mean, like you said, you've got kids on here that are just outrageously talented, right? They're gonna be successful, regardless, as long as they stay on the right track. But then you also have kids that you help develop and really help them find their own, and they're still going on to find success, right? We got Air Force, we got UCLA, Michigan State, Boston College. I mean, the list just goes on from the programs that these kids are committed to, and then there was another graphic somewhere. Yeah, this one right here. I mean, this is
Right.
this is special. I mean, this is
Yeah.
outrageously special. The fact that you've got seniors and underclassmen with all types of different, I call them blessings, kids call them offers, but I think it's a blessing to be a part of what they got going on. So, you've got Power Five all the way down to non-Power Five, right? I think there's a couple of, D2 schools on there, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's
Yep.
it's just special, the fact that you guys are developing these kids to grow and develop and become something more, right? And it doesn't have to be D1 or bust or Power Five or bust. It just so happens that you guys are a pretty solid powerhouse program, and you're blessed to have a great staff and a great head coach in yourself, and that sets these kids up for an even better position in life. So shout out to you, your entire crew, your entire staff. I think it's truly amazing what you guys are doing. And like I said, I've said it multiple times. I'm excited to see these kids in person, man. Like I can watch the hype videos on YouTube and
Right.
follow them on Twitter, but man, to see these kids, I can't wait. I can't wait. So look, I'm gonna close this thing out. I think we've been chatting for a little while, and I don't want to take up too much of your time because you guys are all kinds of busy. But I typically do this with the kids, but I'm gonna hand you the floor one last time and kind of just shout out or give thanks or whatever you want to do to anybody that's helped you along the way, right? Because I think obviously you didn't get there on your own. You had mentors and you had other people, so if you want to shout them out, by all means do so. The floor is yours.
Well, Rob, thanks, man. I mean, ultimately, like I said, throughout the theme of this podcast is the fact that, I couldn't have done this alone. I've got an incredible staff here at St. John Bosco High School. I think it all starts at the top. You have the administration, the athletic director, Monty McDermott, my president, Brian Wickstrom, Chris Anderson's our principal. He's a Bosco alum of '04. So they understand what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. And then it kind of trickles down from there, and I have an incredible staff. My brother, the one that you were tagging on Twitter there, my brother's my head freshman coach. I think, between your offense and defensive line coaches and your freshman coach, those guys have to be probably your most key elements, when building a staff, because that's the hardest areas to coach and to find guys that are going to really be passionate about that. We do a ton of work with the youth in our community, sixth, seventh, and eighth graders. We start in January. We're going to work with them, right alongside with our guys that we're working in terms of developing our current high school team, because we're trying to build for the future. So you got to have guys that are unselfish in terms of, spending some time going out and working with very little pay. to be able to try to develop the young guys because they understand what the future is and how we're trying to do that. From the medical staff, I'm very blessed there. My director of football operations, Jesse Christensen, I mentioned her earlier. She's a rock star. She worked with the Clippers, she worked with the San Diego Chargers, and now she's working at the high school level. So it's a very talented individual. And then again, my coaching staff is awesome. They've been around with me for a long time, and I'm not the easiest guy to work with. I'm very demanding guy. I'm making sure my guys, are staying on top of their game. We visit colleges every off season. We have the opportunity to do so, trying to get better, trying to learn, trying to become better coaches. We're constantly self-evaluating ourselves. We're the first ones to admit we don't have all the answers. We're not going to win every game. But if you're continuing to strive for greatness and you want to be something really powerful, then you better surround yourself with people that share that same vision. And that's, I think, what I've done a pretty decent job of. And from a CEO, head coaching type responsibility, that's it. And then you got to take a look at the players and the families. Those guys are the ones that are kind of entrusting, their development of their kids in the 4-year window at which we have to work with them to get them to where they're supposed to go. And we had a lot of families that have gone through our program, and now they become ambassadors for the next round of kids that are coming through. So we've got this incredible kind of network of people that are just pushing more and more and more people to the program and to this steam engine that's kind of rolling down the tracks. And we got more people just jumping on all the time. And if you can build that community, and we call it the Brave Nation, if we can continue to do that, we're gonna have a lot of people pushing forward. And then lastly, I got to thank my family. My wife Carrie is super supportive of what I'm doing. I've got 2 daughters that are, one just graduated high school and one of them is a sophomore. Bosco's all boys, so they can't come there. They go to a local school by our house where we live in Huntington Beach. But those guys are, they're so instrumental to me because they allow me to do what I do. And I'll never forget 12 years ago, when I told my wife, like, look, I'm thinking about taking this job. What do you think? Because I was at a spot where I could have retired, never, taught my 5 classes, be done, and just be a football coach and right off into the sunset. And I told her I was thinking about taking this adventure out of the public school into the private school, this jumping into this tank with a bunch of sharks in it. What do I need to do? And she says, look, I have no problem with you doing it. Just go win. And I was like, oh, she gets it. That's
Oh,
ultimately what we're trying to do. I've got, my mom and my dad just passed away last August, but those guys were very instrumental in my lives. And I got to thank all the coaches that helped me along the way. Bruce Rawlinson and myself is the head coach at Mater Dei. I have a great relationship. Matt Logan is another guy at Corona Centennial High School. And then I spent about an hour on the phone yesterday with Justin Allenbaugh, who's the head coach at De La Salle, just bouncing ideas off each other. And De La Salle just lost their 315 game winning streak in their area, just this last Friday night. And that's probably one of the most historical programs in the country. And I spent probably about an hour on the phone with Justin talking back and forth about, programs and what we're doing at Bosco, what he's doing at De La Salle. And that's where you become better. And, I've told myself many, many times, and this is a philosophy that I live by, if I walk into a room and I'm the smartest guy in the room, I'm in the wrong room. I need to get out of that room and I need to go challenge myself. And I think that's the reason why I'm at Bosco. That's the reason why we're going to continue to be successful. We've only scratched the surface how good this program is going to be. We have big hopes, big dreams, big visions on taking this thing even further. And we're going to be, the national program of the decade again if we can continue down the road at which we currently are on.
and you guys are, most certainly on the track to do all of those things, man. Continuing the winning culture, continuing to do what you do. I'm going to say thank you again. Hopefully, we get to link up and shake hands and formally meet on Friday. That would be, that would be very cool. But I'm going to wish you luck. Obviously, wish Oscar Smith luck. It's going to be one heck of a game. I can't wait to tune in and watch it. And thankfully, I get to have camera in hand and get this
Yeah.
thing filmed and put this out there for everybody to enjoy that can't make it to the game. So again, I appreciate you taking the time. For everybody out there, this is what Spotlight 39 is all about, man. Sharing, networking, all that good stuff, but more importantly, helping kids get the exposure that they truly deserve, no matter the talent level. Whether it's NAIA all the way up to D1 Power Five, it doesn't matter. We got a platform for you. So, Coach, man, I certainly appreciate it. One last time, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm Rob Odie. This was Spotlight 39. I'm gonna close it out with my man Darius, just like I do every single